All right, let's welcome Paul, Andrew, Kirk. Paul.
All right, Wednesday night in D.C., here we are. All right, so my first experience in D.C., I moved down here from Massachusetts. I was in a Safeway up in Northeast, and it's a couple days before Thanksgiving. And there's this whole amphitheater of people, getting their food for Thanksgiving. And the woman in front of me, we're at those, automatic, those self-checkout registers, And she's in front of me, and she has her bottle of wine and her cottage cheese and her tin of cat food and her grapes, and she's doing her thing, and we're all waiting, and there's huge lines, and when she scans her bottle of wine, the screen turns red and it says, "Please see attendant," and I'm right behind her, and she takes a couple steps away, and I could see a guy up in the booth up there. And he's hit a button that says, "Scan your next item." So, but she's walking, looking around. And I said, excuse me, it says, you can scan your next item. And so she wheels around on me and she says, Do you mind? I would like a little privacy. And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to help you, And she says, "Well, can't you read? It says you're supposed to be standing behind that line." And I said, "Lady, I don't know why you're yelling at me. It's not my fault you're drinking alone on Thanksgiving." So that sets her off, right? And now I've done something wrong, and she's like, "Oh, this is exactly what we need. We need another misogynist, And I said, "Misogynist?" I said, "What man taught you that word?" And actually, I did not say that. I didn't say that for two reasons. She was angry enough, and also I had to go home and look up what misogynist meant. Yeah. But I've moved down here and met some very strong-minded, women, and my girlfriend, I thought we were on the same page, and I was actually out shopping for a gift for her, and then she calls me, and she says, "Oh, we need to talk." So I'm like, "Oh, no, that's not right." And so I put off buying the gift and go to her house, and I said, "Look, before you say anything, I just want to say, I know maybe I haven't been expressing myself, but I think things are going pretty well, and I don't want my words to get ahead of my actions. Judge me by the time we're spending together, but I think it's going okay." And she pats the bed next to herself, and she says, "Come sit down." And she opens a nightstand, and she pulls out this 14-inch string of glass beads and this ketchup bottle size of lubricant, and she says, "That's not what I want to talk about." So, I guess things were going pretty well, and like I said, I come from Western Mass. I'm not very sophisticated, but, she's, full of ideas and has all these notions about, how she can train me to please her better and everything. And yeah, I'm not saying that she, I'm not saying that, she likes a little pain with her pleasure, and she says, "Okay, now if the pain gets to be too much, I'm going to say to you, one more time, unless I say do it again." And I'm not saying she talks too much, but she's the only person I know that has a safe phrase. She could see how I'm looking at her at some point, and and all of a sudden she realizes like I'm not quite with her, and she's like, wait a minute. She says, "You think I'm a slut, don't you?" And I said, no, not in a bad way, So and so I did get her a gift, and I think it's something that we'll both enjoy. I got her, one of these. So then, now I'm going too far, and, I'm single again, and so, my family, everyone's married, everyone has kids, and, everyone, I'm going to these events, we have weddings and funerals, and, recently, there have been There've been 2 weddings and a funeral, and at each event, somebody stood up and they said, "Yeah, behind every good man." Behind every good man is a good woman. And, I'm sitting there by myself and I'm thinking, I'm a good man. Where's my behind? And so the last event that I went to was my sister's wedding. And it was a little awkward for me to try to go to the bachelor party and everything. So I let kind of those guys go off on their own. My sister's a lot younger than me. I just thought I'd let them have some fun. My friend, this is a true story, my friend calls me. He's like, "Yeah, Don, so there were strippers, and there were 3 strippers, 2 regular-sized women and a dwarf." And I'm like, "That's so weird, And he's like, "Yeah, Don, you wouldn't believe it, but, the dwarf, her pile of ones was like a lot bigger than the other 2 girls' pile of ones." And I said, "Well, Ben, are you sure it didn't just look like a bigger pile?" So it's my sister's wedding. I come from a Scottish family. We're all drinking, for 3 days straight, and they take their drinking and driving seriously over there. So everyone stays in the hotel. No one drives anywhere. Like we're all in the hotel. We've been drinking for 3 days straight, and we're there, and and then things are going pretty well with this woman. As the crowd thins out, there's a pretty good-looking girl there, and we're sitting next to each other. And I said, "How you doing, Stacy?" And she's like, "Oh, wow, you remember my name?" Because I was an usher. I had ushered her down the aisle. It seemed like 8 hours ago. And she says, "Oh, you remember my name?" And I said, "Of course I remembered your name. I have a pornographic memory." So. And then she knows I'm coming back. She lives in England. She knows I'm going back to America, and I'm sitting next to her, and I can kind of see her doing the math. And she's like, wait a minute. She's like, "You're going back to America. You're not ever going to see me again." And I said, "I can't see you now." Thank you.